Coming up, the University of Kentucky Senate will consider a vote of no confidence against UK's president.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The University of Kentucky Senate will consider a vote of no confidence in President Eli Capilouto. This comes just after UK's Board of Trustees approved a change in the university's governance structure that will dissolve the Senate. Jeremy Toms has the details.
The University of Kentucky Senate added a resolution of no confidence in UK President Eli Capilouto to its meeting agenda for Monday. This proposal is the result of months of back and forth around recommended changes to the university's governing regulations, a job the president was tasked with back in February. His recommendations were overwhelmingly approved by the university's Board of Trustees last week.
These changes, based on what I've heard, call for more voices at the table.
UK says Capilouto spoke to more than 1,000 stakeholders across the campus for feedback on the matter, but the resolution states Capilouto created, quote, unnecessary and harmful division through the process, and in formulating his recommendations, it claims he made significant repeated management errors. In a statement tonight, UK Board Chair Britt Brockman said in part, quote, we unequivocally support President Capilouto and the work of the UK community to meet Kentucky's needs. We respect those among our faculty who are speaking out. That is a hallmark of a healthy community, but we will keep going. The efforts underway are too important. President Capilouto discussed the next steps in those efforts on Monday.
I've reached out to our shared governance leaders with a request to provide feedback to the revisions that our board gave initial approval to last week.
But the Senate's feedback may come within this resolution. It calls on the board to redo this process of governance reform. In Lexington, Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Capilouto went on to say the Board of Trustees will do a final review of the feedback and proposals at its June meeting. We are getting a first look at the new fully functioning tornado sirens in Powell County. Officials say several of the life-saving tools did not work during a severe weather outbreak last month. Now 11 of the county's 12 sirens are operational.
We are tracking some mainly dry conditions to close out your Thursday, and enjoy that because rain chances are not far away. Let's go to the radar and notice those clouds continue to increase this evening as that next system is not too far away, producing some showers tonight over parts of western Tennessee, also western Kentucky, and this weather system is moving into our direction by late Thursday, also on Friday. Most of us right now still mild in the 60s and 70s, up to 74 in Jackson, also in Pikeville, up to 68 for Somerset, 69 for London, and 63 over in Clay County. At this hour, most of us fall into the middle and lower 60s to wake up on your Friday. A small chance of a few showers or a few light sprinkles, mainly close to I-75 or close to Lake Cumberland. But for most, we stay dry to wake up on Friday, but that will change on Friday as more showers are on the way. A first alert to pack the rain gear as you wake up and walk out the door, and more rain chances on the way for this weekend. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. An Eastern Kentucky mother charged in the death of her 17-month-old daughter is requesting a change of venue for her trial. Erica Lawson of Bell County claims media coverage has altered public opinion. Lawson is charged with murder. Her daughter, Elena, died of serious injuries back in July last year. At the time, officials said they had never seen a case of child abuse so severe. A man accused of murdering a woman in a Madison County mansion has been found competent to stand trial. That ruling came during a hearing last week for Shannon Gilday following a psychiatric evaluation. Police say he broke into former state representative Wesley Morgan's home in 2022 and killed Morgan's daughter, Jordan, while she slept. Wesley Morgan was also hurt. Gilday is scheduled to stand trial next May. Tonight we are hearing from a London Walmart associate who helped stop a multi-state theft ring. Police say the well-trained crew originated from Eastern Europe. They caught the attention of Jacob Binge, who helps with loss prevention. He had heard the crew was possibly heading north after complaints in Corbin and Williamsburg, so when he spotted them inside his store, he stopped them immediately.
As soon as they had a bad feeling about it, they started to leave, at which point I just sort of stopped them and talked to them and asked them how they were doing.
Ben says the team could steal anywhere from thousands of dollars up to seven-figure amounts. We're still working to learn the identities of the people connected to the scam. A Kentucky judge will not remove a court order that's been blocking executions in the state for more than a decade. In a ruling, the judge said he will not overturn the ban because there have been several changes to lethal injection regulations since 2010 when the ban took effect. The judge says there is constitutional questions about the new regulations that have to be settled. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman says the ban should be lifted so that families of victims can finally see justice. Right now, there are about 24 inmates on Kentucky's death row. Many across the region participated in the National Day of Prayer. In Pikeville, an event at the city park brought out dozens of people for special music, speakers, and specific prayers for military, government, businesses, education, media, churches, and family. The event is sponsored by the Pikeville-Pike County Ministerial Association, creating a space where folks can come together in prayer and fellowship.
It doesn't matter if you're in Pike County, Kentucky, or if you're in the heart of the biggest city in the United States of America. You know, we have these same needs. Our communities look different, but our needs are the same.
Bailey says she's glad to see people show up to the event every year and is happy to see how other events have been created through the years. In Perry County, people came together at the amphitheater next to Hazard City Hall this evening. Folks were able to stop by and enjoy worship music, hot dogs, and fellowship. Several leaders in the community were on stage to offer prayers and try to uplift everyone. Pastor Tim Reynolds with First Baptist Church says this event was important to showcase the unity in the county.
That's happening all across the United States. In the adjoining counties, Leslie County and Letcher County, they're doing the same things, and probably every other county around. People are coming together from all different churches, a lot of different denominations. Community leaders are coming in to be prayed for, and that's what this is about. We're praying for our leaders.
The national anthem was sung by student volunteers from a school in Ohio who have been staying at First Baptist Church this week. Now, those volunteers from Grant Career Center in Bethel, Ohio, wrapped up a week-long stay filled with remodeling and more at the National Day of Prayer event. The group is made up of both students and teachers who have been here before following the July 2022 flood. Teachers with the Career Center and members of the community agree the experience is beneficial for all involved.
We bring them down here and they get to put their skills to work in the real life setting. So it's just been a pleasure to come down and serve the community.
And not only that, these are kids that are learning vocational school training. And they're learning how to be carpenters, they're learning how to be plumbers and how to be electricians. What a great place for them to come, because we've got plenty of that type of work going on in our community with so many new homes being built.
The volunteers spent the week staying at First Baptist Church and will be leaving in the morning. Around 2,000 people have now been arrested or detained at campus demonstrations across the nation over the Israel-Hamas war. President Biden spoke about the protests, which are becoming more violent and disrupting exams and graduations. CBS's Bradley Blackburn reports from New York on the day's developments.
A protester rammed into a police officer at Portland State University in Oregon Thursday morning as an occupied library was cleared of demonstrators. Police say they found tools, improvised weapons, and paint balloons in the library. An officer tussled with protesters at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., who were trying to raise a Palestinian flag. And police fired impact munitions as they moved into an encampment overnight at UCLA.
We did hear the flashbangs, and that's kind of to get people, alerted that we're coming in and get them slightly distracted.
That's too tight.
More than 200 demonstrators were taken into custody at UCLA. The protests across the country, from Rutgers University in New Jersey on the East Coast to California State University in Long Beach on the West Coast, are boiling over as police, demonstrators, and college administrators face off.
Let them go!
Prompting President Biden to address the issue from the White House.
Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is.
Some demonstrators did not take kindly to the president's remarks.
If he cared about his constituents, he would listen in to why these students are protesting.
There have been protests at more than 30 colleges and universities. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
President Biden also said in his remarks that there's no place for anti-Semitism or Islamophobia on college campuses. New York City police say an officer fired his gun while clearing a building at Columbia University earlier this week.
I'm in menopause!
Hollywood actress Halle Berry delivering an impassioned speech today on Capitol Hill about, you guessed it, menopause. Berry joined a bipartisan group of women and senators to unveil legislation towards boosting research, training, and awareness for menopause. The bill would provide nearly $300 million for women's midlife health issues through research grants, promotional activities, and outreach programs. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, Derby weekend is almost here, but have you heard about Hillbilly Outfield? The story behind one of Louisville's biggest backyard parties.
Plus, we are tracking some wet weather for tomorrow and this weekend. Your Friday forecast after this break.